was reading a survey yesterday. It said that fish are the easiest animals to take care of. Do you agree with that?
My brother had some goldfish. They always end up dying.
See, that's what I like. Okay, what are you talking about keeping care of? Because sometimes fish can be so out of sight, out of mind.
You just forget about them.
You're like, oh, yeah, there's the fish tank. It's cool for like a week and a half.
It felt like the biggest pain in the ass when we had to clean that thing.
Yeah, you have to clean it.
And then you have to get the water temperature is very important, too.
Storage for the fish while you're cleaning it out.
You know that, right? Like, if you can't just put them in tap water, they'll die if they're used to warmer water.
I disagree with that, but 32% of the respondents said that fish was the easiest animal to take care of, followed by cat at 29%, dog 17%, and then hamster and bird were in there. Like bird, I same thing with fish. Out of sight, out of mind. You forget about them. Hamster, I don't know. I would never get a hamster. Although I always thought it'd be kind of cool to get like that tubing that you have like around your house when I was a kid. Like, you know, like you have like a hamster track that goes from the living room to your bedroom, down the hall and all that stuff. But my mom would never let me get that.
Yeah, I was going to say.
As a parent, I would never let my kids get that either. Because my son would walk up to it with a baseball bat to see if he could shatter it and get the hamster out. And he could. So therefore, no hamsters in the house. But if I was to what was your first pet? What was your first?
It was a guinea pig. His name was Tattoo of Tattoo from Fantasy
Island. Kind of like
Island.
a hamster, right? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, he had a cage.
What are the differences between a
I
guinea
don't know.
pig
It's a
and
little
hamster?
furry rat thing, and, you know, it sat in the cage, and it was Tattoo.
What do you do with it? Like, what do you do?
I don't think we did anything with it. I just would go up to the cage and go, you know, Tattoo. I was pretty young.
Hey, buddy.
I think I was maybe under 5 or under.
Eat some more pellets that look like poop.
We had Tattoo, and then we had Casper. I picked him out and named him. He was a white Persian cat, like Casper the Friendly Ghost. Mm-hmm. So I got to name the first two animals. The short guy from Fantasy Island, Tattoo, and Casper the Friendly Ghost.
It's amazing because I don't know if I could remember my first pet. I remember my first dog, and I think that's my first pet. I'm pretty sure that Bubba was my first pet, but I don't know because there could have been fish. There could have been other, what I call non-important pets that came along before Bubba. But Bubba was a buddy because Bubba is, you know, he's the deal. He is, you know, he was man's best friend. What was your first pet, and what would be the best first pet for a child? Remember, I tried to get my daughter a kitten. The kitten is not a good first animal for
It's a good question because, I mean, the dog is great because dogs are puppies or they're young, and some dogs are great with kids, other dogs aren't. Cats are kind of antisocial for the most part, right? They want to do their own thing. It's probably going to be a dog. It's just that's not the easiest thing to take care of. Nobody cares about fish.
But we were talking yesterday about chores. Like, what teaches responsibility more than
picking up dog poop in the yard?
Making sure the life of an animal is accommodated for.
But it traumatized me, and that's why I can't pick up dog poop anymore. I wasn't picking it up.
Why would you wait? Just wait.
Shoveling it.
Just wait till it gets hard.
I was just shoveling
and then pick it up
because we lived in the Northwest where it rained 24/7. It never got hard.
I lucked out with Bubba. He hated the rain, and he would go into our back porch, which had a closure over the top of it because it rained all the time. So if you wanted to ever go outside, you had to go on the back porch, and it had an enclosure so people could. I remember my mom and dad's friends would come over, and that's where they'd smoke cigarettes, and there'd be dog poop all over the place because he pooped on the patio, and that was it, which was fine for me because picking it up, that's like shooting fish in a barrel. I'm not having to wander around the yard looking for it. I'm like, all right, I'll just go pick it up off the
deck.
It was not a deck; it was a concrete slab. Yeah,
still.
But yeah, I just pick it up right off there. I mean, it was easy. I liked it. I'm sure nobody else did because you really couldn't use the porch or the concrete slab for anything else but to smoke cigarettes on.
Now, my wife, when George goes, she picks it up right away. When I'm home and George goes, I leave it for her to pick up.
Why not?
Sometimes, if we're going to play ball, I'll go pick up all the droppings in the yard. But yeah, it's the worst part of owning a pet is probably having to pick up their poop. Like, yeah, it's you don't even have to do it with your kids. I mean, you change diapers when they're young, but you don't have to grab a bag and yeah. Can you imagine? It's
like,
terrible.
These dogs that we have right now,
it's not fun.
Those dogs, they're not. I don't consider them pets of the kids. Like they get along, and all that stuff. But we brought the pets along with
Well, you
us
had the pets first.
before the kids.
Yeah.
So I feel like any responsibility I bestow upon them about the pets, it's really not their fault. They didn't ask for those pets,
805-543-3693. You can also hit us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Jeff and Jeremy. We're asking you, what was your first pet and what was the easiest one to take care of?
Yeah. If you have a pet, like what's the best first pet for a kid or, for anybody that wants to not have a huge commitment, but still, have a little bit of responsibility in their
Looks
life.
like you're trying to do some research and homework here.
No, I'm not. I just thought the fish I would not pick fish. I was surprised that fish was number one in that study because that, to me, seems like a damn nightmare. Cleaning the tank, making sure the filter's fine. You mentioned the water pressure. You forget to feed them because they don't say, hey, I'm hungry, like a dog does. You're 43?
Yeah.
Would you entertain having an iguana at 43?
No.
I'd rather not.
I mean, I just don't think it's
Do they
fair
bite?
that they live in that case. They live in a case, right?
Do they bite?
I don't think
it's
anything-
a big lizard.
It's too big of a lizard to live in a cage.
Like I don't like the
or
little,
live in a little tank.
I have these lizards at my house that are about yay long.
Yeah, let them run.
And they live underneath the garbage can. And I smash them all the time. I feel so bad. I smash them when I'm taking the garbage cans out and end up killing them. And
They're not that smart.
no, they're not. They're lizards, for God's sakes. But those freak me out. Those little lizards. Just this little lizard. Like, you're walking down the sidewalk.
Oh, they pop out.
And they pop out. They run out in front of you.
Yeah, I
and you're
step
like,
on them sometimes.
You're like, what is that?
I feel bad.
I couldn't imagine
Dummy.
having one that is the size of one of those fish that you catch out at Lake Lopez, or
Yeah.
the one that your buddy catches in the stocked ponds. I could not imagine having that as a first pet, let alone a pet today. But Michael Stevens, he says iguana is the best first pet to have. No, I'm not.
What do you
going
feed an iguana? Crickets?
people?
They don't eat people.
Jeff says a dog or a rat.
Oh, well, that couldn't be any more different.
A rat.
Yeah, why would you want a rat? Well, it's kind of like a guinea pig, right?
Yeah. You know what rats freak me out more than any rat in the world? The white rats with the red eyes.
Yeah, these look really
Those
creepy.
look demonic.
And they used to eat them on V. Do you remember that?
No.
They'd eat the white
What's
mouse
V?
with the pink red
Is that
eyes.
some kind of drug?
No,
you
that was
and
a
your
TV
friends-
show when we were kids about the spaceship that came down to Earth. V? You never watched V?
No.
You would have been you're much older than I am, so you probably would have been.
I would have been 10 months older than
You
you.
probably would have been, I don't know, 10 or 11.
Yeah. When you were 10?
Yeah, I think I was 9.
I would have been in like 5th grade.
9 or 10.
You would have been in 1st. Yeah.
So, and then eventually I would be 10 too. But yeah, I'm V.
V, no, I don't remember
Okay,
V.
you got to Google the show V. It was huge. It was so popular.
So it was about aliens?
Yeah, they ate mice, and they looked just like that.
And
That's
they
what it
would
reminded me
eat
of.
the rats that were white with red eyes and pink tails?
Yeah. Bryson says cats. Now, here's the thing. Cats have claws. They could scratch a kid, and they have a potty box you have to empty, the cat box. It stinks so bad.
The whole idea of having open, exposed fecal matter in like a corner of the kitchen or a corner
Bathroom.
of the hallway.
Well, ours
or
was in my
a
parents'
bedroom.
bathroom upstairs.
Oh, it's just disgusting.
It
to
really
me.
is. Like, that's when you want to have it maybe in the garage, and they go out in the garage or something. I don't know. Maybe here it's a little bit different.
Subscribe to the Jeff and Jeremy podcast now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. It's your Central Coast commute-friendly podcast.